Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so glad you're here joining us. Today, we're tackling something that feels incredibly personal, yet it's surprisingly universal. We are diving into a very specific mystery that millions of older adults face every single night, waking up in the dead of the night, almost at the exact same time. If you've been feeling frustrated by this, just take a deep breath. You're in the right place, and we are going to decode exactly what your body is trying to tell you. So let's jump right into this shared frustration. It's a question so many of us have whispered to ourselves in the dark, right? Why are you always awake at 3 a.m.? Honestly, it feels entirely random, like a glitch in the system. But it really isn't. Your body isn't working against you here. It's actually operating on a very specific set of biological rules that, well, they simply change as we get older. As you'll see by the end of this explainer, this timing is actually a clue, not a curse. Picture this scene. It probably feels all too familiar. It's 3 in the morning, the house is completely, perfectly silent. Everyone else in the world seems to be fast asleep, except you. Your eyes are wide open, your mind is suddenly strangely alert. You just lie there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering why this keeps happening night after night. But instead of getting frustrated, I want us to reframe this moment. Your body is trying to communicate with you. It's serving up clues about your health, your habits, and your biology. And hey, if you're lying awake thinking you're the only one dealing with this, you're not. Look at this. We're talking millions of people over the age of 60 dealing with this exact same timing, literally almost like clockwork. It is one of the absolute most common experiences of getting older, yet people rarely talk about it. You are absolutely not alone in this. We just need to understand the mechanics behind it. Now, what's really fascinating here is how our body's internal clock fundamentally shifts as we just get older. Inside your brain is your circadian rhythm. Think of it as this master clock that dictates when you should feel tired and when you should be wide awake and alert. When we're younger, this clock is set to a certain time zone, so to speak. But as we age, the settings on that clock naturally begin to change. Let's look at this timeline because it makes so much sense when you see it laid out. Because our circadian rhythm shifts earlier as we age, you might find yourself feeling pretty sleepy by 8 p.m. while watching the evening news. By 10 p.m., you're fast asleep. So when 3 a.m. rolls around, well, your body has already logged a significant amount of rest. Your shifted internal clock is simply ringing its morning alarm. Waking up before sunrise isn't a flaw in your sleep cycle at all. It's just a naturally shifted biological schedule. Okay, let's move to another key piece of the puzzle. Sleep isn't just one solid block of time, right? It happens in stages. Youthful sleep is characterized by large amounts of time spent in deep, heavy sleep. You know, the kind of sleep that is incredibly hard to wake up from. But older age sleep, it's mechanically different. As we age, we naturally spend way less time in that deep stage and much more time hovering in lighter sleep stages. And because you're spending more time in those lighter sleep stages, your threshold for waking up is much, much lower. A creaky floorboard in the hallway, a car driving by outside, or literally even just a random passing thought is now entirely enough to pull you right out of your sleep. It's not that your body suddenly forgot how to sleep or that something is terribly wrong. It's just that your rest isn't as deep as it used to be. And that makes those 3 a.m. interruptions far more likely to fully wake you up. So the crucial point here is that alongside these natural sleep cycle changes, there are actual physical, biological triggers waking you up. These are the tangible clues we can actively investigate. We're talking about things like bladder changes, blood sugar fluctuations, and even your daily medications. These can act as physical culprits that actively yank you out of sleep. Let's break these down because identifying which of these is affecting you is the first big step to getting better rest. Let's start with the bladder. As we age, bladder capacity naturally tends to shrink. This leads to a very specific, incredibly common condition called nocturia, which is just the medical term for needing to urinate 1 or more times during the night. If you're getting up to use the bathroom at 3 a.m., you are experiencing one of the single most common reasons older adults find themselves awake in the early hours. It's just a physical reality of aging, but man, it is a massive disruptor of that light sleep. Then there's your blood sugar. Now, this is a really fascinating mechanism. If your blood sugar drops too low overnight, which can totally happen from medication or honestly just not eating enough in the evening, your body views this as a literal emergency. To bring that blood sugar back up, your body pumps out stress hormones. That sudden surge of hormones can jolt you straight out of sleep. You might wake up feeling unusually alert or even with a racing heart. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, this is a major clue you'll definitely want to discuss with your doctor. Now, let's look at something that surprises a lot of people. Could your daily medication be the hidden culprit? Many of us take prescriptions every day to stay healthy, sure, but common medications like certain blood pressure drugs or diuretics can quietly fragment your sleep. They might alter how deeply you rest, or they might increase how much fluid your body processes overnight, sending you right back to that nocturia issue we were just talking about. To put this into perspective, listen to this story from the source material. A woman in her late 60s spent months waking up at 3 a.m. She said, and I quote, "I assumed it was just getting older. It turned out my blood pressure medication was being absorbed differently overnight. Her medication was disrupting her sleep without her even realizing it. This perfectly illustrates why you should never just brush off a sleep change. If your wake-up started right around the time you began a new medication, that's a massive clue. Always consult your doctor or pharmacist. Never change your meds on your own, obviously, but definitely ask the question." Of course, sometimes the culprit isn't physical at all, it's mental. Stress hormones like cortisol naturally rise in the early morning to help wake us up. But if you're carrying extra stress, worrying about your health, your finances, the family, that cortisol can spike too early and way too strongly. This early hormone spike perfectly explains why you might wake up at 3 a.m. and instantly feel your mind start racing. You're replaying the day or worrying about tomorrow, all while the rest of the house is perfectly still. Now, a quick caveat here. While most of these 3 a.m. wake-ups are a totally normal part of aging, it is vital to know when a wake-up is actually a medical red flag. You should absolutely have a prompt conversation with your doctor if you experience symptoms like waking up gasping for air, or if a partner notes loud snoring and stopped breathing. That points to sleep apnea, which is very treatable. Similarly, waking with chest discomfort, an irregular heartbeat, sudden sweating, or feeling persistently anxious or low for weeks, those aren't just getting older. Those warrant professional attention for sure. So for the vast majority of us dealing with normal aging shifts, what can we actually do about it? Well, here are 4 highly actionable, doctor-recommended lifestyle fixes you can literally try tonight. First, keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet to protect that lighter sleep. Second, limit caffeine after lunchtime and go easy on the evening alcohol, since both of those fragment sleep. Third, get natural sunlight early in the day to help anchor and reset that shifting circadian rhythm. And finally, if you do find yourself awake at 3 a.m., whatever you do, don't just lie there staring at the clock. Get up for a few quiet minutes, let your mind settle, and then return to bed. We've covered a lot today. We talked about shifting clocks, the lighter sleep stages, and those sneaky physical and mental culprits that interrupt our nights. Understanding all this really transforms a frustrating night into an opportunity to listen to your health. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. When you wake up at 3 a.m. tonight, what clues will your body be giving you? Remember, you're now equipped to be your own medical detective. This is a normal part of aging to be managed, understood, and optimized. Absolutely not something to be feared. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, here's to a better, more insightful night's sleep.